That's design with a capital D, right? Instead of design with a lowercase d.
Well,
you own the strategy, you own the output, and you own the reputation of the idea.
I mean, that's all you're really doing as a business owner, is just creating these safe spaces for people to operate, for people to be in the know, to be well-informed, to make decisions.
There's something in the industry, it's been in the industry for a really long time, and it's that like design can save the world. It can't.
Client engagements and opportunities, win or learn, are all valuable.
Like a brand to me is all the personality traits of a friend of yours, right?
Never Work a Day talks to folks that are pivoting their lives to follow their passions. We talk about pitfalls, misadventures, hilarious and heartbreaking, meet the outstanding individuals, and learn about their continuing journey. I'm your host, Nikki Frankel, purveyor of platforms and creator of play spaces, and I'm so excited to bring you the stories of these extraordinary individuals. Welcome to another episode of Never Work a Day. I'm Nikki Frankel. Our guests today are Jason Bacher and Adam Lehman, and here's a bit of information about them. Adam is currently the founder and creative director of What Else. Jason is a partner and head of strategy at What Else. Both have led various studios and have a unique perspective on the standard workflow of an agency. What Else Studio operates as a creative workshop that helps brands define their futures. And now let's hear from Jason and Adam. Hi. Hi, guys. Hi, Adam and Jason. Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you guys because we recently started working together again on a project.
Mm-hmm.
But I first met you when I was working on Adobe in 99U, and you worked on a project that actually got the project that we're working on, which is called Good Fucking Design Advice, which was an initiative to create, I guess, materials that spoke about good fucking design advice.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Good Fucking Design Advice was really just like a manifesto for creatives, and that it took off in a lot of ways, and it became a lot of different things. One of the things that we did with you at 99U was the workshop series.
Yeah,
it was we had a series that we were kind of shopping around, and I think you had caught wind of that, so we came out to teach like one small aspect of that, and it was a complete shit show, but in all the best ways. It wasn't a complete failure because I think like the next year we got invited out again, which we were shocked. So we went even crazier in year two, and I don't know that I'll share the photos with anyone, but I still have them. They really do. They're very interesting. It was a good workshop. Those who were there, they remember.
Yeah, and I think also throwing the word "fuck" into anything
really
automatically makes people pay attention to what you're talking about.
Yeah, profanity sells, no question.
Always.
That was like virality with GFDA.
It really was. I think about the high point of GFDA. It was like the Tumblr era. It was like pre-Shopify. Yeah. I think we started on Big Cartel. I don't want to like age myself out of this podcast.
You're not.
But definitely
all rages.
But yeah, it was definitely pre-virality. We had the full internet experience in all of its originality.
I don't remember. Did you offer good fucking design advice actually, though?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. In the beginning, we just put this website together that had 25 pieces of advice. They all had profanity in them. And then after a month, we had 3 million page views.
Yeah.
So we were like, we got to sell these people something. And so we started selling merch, and we built an entire brand around that. And then, the rest is history. I did that for 7 years. So just to show you like how long you can keep the fire stoked.
And how many profanities, you had.
Tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of F-bombs dropped in that set.
In the service of design advice. It's important.
It's still going today.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm no longer a part of it, but it's still alive.
So we can still look it up, and you can still get some kind of coffee cup or something.
Yeah. Absolutely. The long
poster.
play on the F word.
Go buy the book. Go buy the book.
Go buy the
also
book.
buy the book.
You can also
Please
buy the book. Let's buy the book.
Yeah.
At the top.
Let's put a plug in there for the book.
Immediately, just from the get.
Yeah.
Adam, I'm new to meeting you.
Yeah, same.
It's nice to see you in person.
Good to see you. I know. We just have this Zoom relation.
I know. Now I see you as a full human. It was shocking. You're much taller.
Real.
I know. You're not just an AI bot. It's crazy. You have a background history, though, as a creative director, right?
Yeah.
And a design director.
Yeah. Design since high school, really. Like, I knew I wanted to be a graphic designer since the 10th grade. They offered a graphic design class. I took it and was just hooked. So
good for that educational institution.
It was amazing. It was really just like Photoshop 101 and then 201. And I was like, great. If this is a job, I'm doing it.
I'm down.
Yeah, this is incredible. Like, there's nothing else I want to do. Yeah, I went to college for design. Started my career in-house at IBM, so kind of saw like the big corporate machine
Oh,
up
immediately,
close
yeah.
right away
Yeah.
before launching into that kind of agency circuit in New York and learning all the lessons that both good and bad.
Both. Well, we can get into
Maybe more bad.
We can talk. We can talk about that. But
This is a safe space.
Yeah, this is a safe space to feel however you feel about all of the things we're going to talk about. I wanted to ask you both, though, just as a point of just a background and kind of like origin story. What was the first thing, even when you guys were kids, that grabbed you as design, that you noticed as a design piece?
Adam?
Yeah, I have two. So I grew up just outside of Detroit in a small little suburb called Westland. And so Detroit has two fantastic kind of design moments going for it. One, the automobile industry. You think of like those chrome badges on the back of old Chevys and Pontiacs and Fords from back in the day that people are still driving. You're like, wow, look at that beautiful piece. I wouldn't have called it design as a kid, but I was like, I'm really attracted to the shapes of these vehicles and the chrome and the script word marks and things like that, right? It's just hard. You can't escape it in Detroit. And we also have a really like loyal fan base, even though we don't win that often in Detroit. Like I'm a big Detroit sports fan. But like I got to see an NBA championship in my childhood, and like the brand that the Pistons built around that team and just how loyal people are to those sports industries. And you think about the Detroit D for the Detroit Tigers, one of the most famous logos in the world, right?
Yeah.
It represents an entire city. Everyone knows what that logo is. So
Yeah.
I was blessed to like get raised on really good design without even knowing it.
Yeah, because it was just around you and you
Yeah.
were just attracted to it.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
just thought
it
that was
made
life.
you question. And once you started graphic design, you probably realized that somebody made those
Totally.
intentionally.
And it's influenced my decision making, right? Like some of those things are in my personal taste because I can't escape them.
Yeah, for sure. And it didn't make you to analyze design thinking in general, though, right? Like why people chose that kind of shape or why they chose the chrome they chose. Or
Right. Yeah. And you think about like how sensibilities and taste change through decades, right? You can look at cars and you know exactly what year it's from, right? That's such a distinct, powerful moment for design is if you can point to a decade, wow, like you really pinpointed it in there.
That's really powerful because then it's just around you necessarily, right? What was yours?
Yeah, a lot less sexy than that. Mine, my parents, they owned a paint and wallpaper business, and that was like our daycare. So we grew up, and once we reached like a certain age, I think my mom was like, "Well, I'm gonna drop you off with my dad. I'm gonna go run some errands," and so we spent a lot of time there, and we were always surrounded by color, wallpaper, pattern, texture, all of these things that really showed you the different ways people brought their own personality into their space.
Okay. Did you work within that business?
Yeah. So yeah, my parents were very like specific. You couldn't start working until you reached 16 years of age. And then once you were 16, obviously, my parents encouraged you to go to school, but also you had to have a part-time job at the store. So yeah, that was a big part of my upbringing. Spent a lot of time there.
Did you have to help people choose paint colors?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Based on mood? Based on
Still knows like all the codes.
Yeah,
and,
based on
all the shades.
all the
Crazy.
hacks and all that.
Based on moods, based on relationship status. I think I watched my dad save a few marriages.
Oh.
Just like helping.
What's the best color to save a relationship?
Probably gray.
That's not true.
Yeah, no. But, you do learn a little thing here and there about it, but it always was interesting seeing how like, two parties come into the store and their conflicts and you start to think about what are they really rooted in and, how are we going to solve this problem for them and make them both happy? But yeah, my dad had done that for 35, maybe almost 40 years. He just retired recently, so.
Congratulations. But that's important. Paint colors are important. And we don't really think about it that much at all. Those are great design points. I mean, I grew up with my father being in advertising. So I was surrounded by branding. I was wearing branding.
Yeah.
I knew what it was and I didn't like it, but that's because I didn't go into it for that reason. When did you actually, so you had a job early on in something like design, but what was the first design job? And also how'd you feel about it when you first kind of it turned into something that you really loved versus business? What was you mentioned agency, but.
First design job for me was probably pre-graduation. I think in undergrad, our school had a daily newspaper. And so getting a job at the daily newspaper was honestly a really big deal. And it was kind of like a rite of passage because only so many people could work there. And obviously having a daily, there was no room for error. And so you had to be good at what you did. And so I worked in undergrad worked my way up, found myself a job at the daily newspaper. And then I also started working for like a small time publisher in my hometown. And I started subbing all of that publishing work out to my friends and just collecting a percentage. Does that sound familiar?
That's such a Jason
And
thing. Like,
I realized I didn't have to work at all while my friends were doing the work. I just had to check it and then ship it back to the client.
Nice.
So that was like,
it's been the same as whole life.
yes.
Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening now. At the time, I didn't really realize what I was doing. I just didn't have the time to do the work and have a part-time job. So that was like my first entry into both design and business in the same sphere. But Adam?
Yeah, technically my first design job was in high school. So there was a local print shop in this little town called Palm Coast where I was going to school down in Florida. And the guy reached out to the graphic design teacher, was like, I need like an intern or someone to come in and do stuff. So I went in, I met the dude. It's called Dolphin Printing and Design. I don't think it still exists. I drove by it the other day. It wasn't there. So
We should totally recreate
Yeah, you should just recreate it. And
It
when they
was
did printing, did they do printing for what? For anything?
So like local theaters, so like brochures, posters,
Right.
a lot of business cards, a lot of like calendars that you would see at like the local restaurants.
You would have to lay them out.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff. So like mostly like production work, right? But the
Okay.
best part of that job was we would do like most of the real estate agents' business cards
Oh.
in Palm Coast and Daytona Beach. And most of my job was photoshopping chins out of real estate agent portraits. So I would just sit there and just remove chins for like an entire day and then hand the portraits back.
Remove chins?
Yeah, like
chin.
multiple chins.
Multiple
so they were like,
chins. So
they were
you
like,
just
touch me
photoshopped,
up.
you touched up the chin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hours of
Wow.
chin retouching. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can do that so much faster today. Chin retouch.
Yeah, but
It's
there's
so
some
easy.
joy
You
in
don't have
the
to do
lasso
anything
tool.
now.
Like
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
that was my first job.
Plum stamp.
Really, really
Yeah.
luxurious
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah. And I guess when you both entered corporate, so you said IBM.
hmm
How did that go?
Really well.
Good.
So IBM has a really rich and beautiful design history. They're over 100 years old. Paul Rand obviously is very involved in that brand. Elliot Noyes, the Eameses, right? Like
Mhm.
it's a storied history of brand and design in general. They really lost their way. 80s, 90s, early 2000s, not as much focus on brand and design.
I
And
think a lot of people don't even know that background that
Yeah.
we're talking about right now at
Yeah.
all in relation to IBM.
Totally. So when I was graduating college, they were pushing to hire 1,500 designers in 5 years,
Oh.
train them, and then disperse them into the business.
Hmm.
So Phil Gilbert led that initiative, was the GM of IBM Design, and just went for it. And it was such an amazing time at IBM. It felt like a real renaissance moment.
It was a rebrand then.
A bit, like
Yeah.
in a sense of just like rediscovering the identity and power that design can have on a giant global organization. Some of it worked really well. Some of it not so much, but it's one of the largest, oldest corporations ever. It started as a meat slicing company, right? Like, and now it's this global technological powerhouse. So it was a really exciting time. Some things were very confusing. Obviously, you're trying to turn a cruise ship.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. It was so much fun. Honestly, I was there for about 2 years and made lifelong friends. Worked on some stuff I'll always remember, and then I moved to New York.
That sounds like a nice experience.
It was
for
great.
your
It
first
was
work.
awesome.
Yeah.
But then you moved to New York, but you didn't escape IBM.
No,
It came
it's
after.
impossible.
There was more. There
It
was
hunted
more.
me down.
The story
just-
continues.
The story continues into New
Yeah.
York. Yeah, thank you, Jason.
No problem.
It's like the joke of my career is when I left IBM and I started working at different agencies in New York, both freelance and full time. Every agency I've worked at, IBM has been a client of mine
Oh,
because they would see it on my resume and be like, "Oh, we're servicing a part of their business. Now you're just on the IBM."
now you're just on the IBM
Yeah,
thing.
every single agency I've worked at,
Really?
Yeah.
Across.
all of them.
Yeah. And what was the difference from working with the company of IBM versus working with their agencies? How did you feel? And you're welcome. And this is a safe space, but I'm just
Yeah.
curious because if you're working directly with clients,
Yeah,
as you know, it's different working with.
it's an interesting question because instead of working for the personality that is IBM and like the powers that be there, I'm now working for like the personalities and powers that be at the agencies
Right.
and the expectations that they're setting, right? Like I'm a midweight, then a senior, then an ACD,
Mm.
right? It's like I'm not in control of these teams. I'm not in control of this client or business. It's like, I guess we're working late. I guess we're working the weekend. I guess we're going up to Armonk again. So like there was a point in my career with an agency. We were working on a presentation for the CEO of IBM, Ginni Rometty at the time. It's really big to do in front of a bunch of other CEOs. We would work on the deck with the head of brand until about 3 a.m. Project manager and I would get in an Uber around 7 a.m., go to Armonk, give her the presentation. She'd go into a room, she'd review it, she'd come out, hand us the USB stick back. We'd get back in a car, go back to the office, work till 3 a.m., back in a car the next day. And we did that for 2 months.
That sounds lovely.
That sounds like a great experience. That sounds like a great work ethos and really a good way to motivate
everyone was happy. Nobody was stressed.
For the best work.
No burnout.
And did
I
you
didn't age
find?
at all.
I'm just curious. At IBM, was that culture? What was the culture? Similar?
No.
Okay.
No, there are distinct lanes within IBM.
Right.
It's over 300,000 people.
Yeah, of
work
course.
There's like softball moments within IBM, and then there's like big league moments within IBM. And like those big league moments, it's like no cost is spared, no hours wasted. It's crazy. Like get on the private jet with the CEO and keep working.
So all of that is just continuing to work and continuing to update and on either sort of work faction. It's same.
I think it's terrible. It's one of the lessons I learned, and Jason has learned in other ways in his career path. It's like, if we ever become this type of leader or set this expectation, we know we failed immediately.
Well, right, because I mean, that seems to be a bit of a culture for designers anyway, right? That they're just working as long as they work as often as they need to for everything that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes out of love, but sometimes they're being ground into dust.
Well, and there's not a lot of sort of regulation around any of that at all. I mean, not even a little bit. So your experience was, Jason, was similar?
It was similar, but it was maybe less violent. I think I advocate for less violence in graphic design all the time. I mean, it was unique to me, certainly. I think I started in agencies. I moved around a little bit. I was always working on something that I was either owner or partner of. And some of those experiences were still led by other individuals. And a lot of time you were responding to their relationship with leadership and then trying to, move something forward or build a team. And it just took immense manpower in order to get anything done. And similar to Adam, like it just meant that you were staying up incredibly late or working crazy hours, or on Monday you're going left, by the end of Monday you're going right. And these dramatic shifts and changes are just impacting so many people that you're in charge of. And that's fine for a limited period of time as needed. But like, if that's the whole gig,
if that's all you're doing.
Yeah, if that's all you're doing, it is just really tiresome. And I think that really, I mean, for both of us, that's really where the seed was probably planted for what else.
Yeah. And so, I mean, how'd you all meet?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. How'd you tell what's the story? I hope it's romantic.
Yeah, we should have invited him here, honestly. It would have been a good third leg on this interview. But I started working with a guy named Logan a number of years ago prior to finishing grad school. And then later, Logan moved to New York shortly after I did, which was like 2014, 2015. At some point, Logan meets Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan and I still get together like regularly at this point in time. We just actually saw Logan last night, so we're still good friends. And Adam is as well. And Adam is then introduced to me by Logan, because Logan lives in a different neighborhood. He's got different friends. Things look different for Logan.
Sure.
And of course, I'm like, who's Adam?
But this is just a once a year thing.
Once a year
for
thing.
Like
for
8 years
Logan's
straight.
birthday.
I would see Jason once or twice a year. We would chat. And it would always go really well.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I can't wait for next year's update, right?
Yeah, you're like, Adam is just such a nice dude. Like, I wish I saw that guy more, but he lives in Park Slope and I live in like Bushwick
and you just can't get it together. Brooklyn's too vast.
Yeah, there's like no
to make that happen.
Yeah.
So was there one conversation that sparked you actually having more meetings?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It was again Logan's birthday.
Right.
The 8th one
of
that
course.
we had met up
year.
for. I was telling Jason, I just left a startup. It's kind of imploding. I'm getting out. I don't think I'm going to go take another job anywhere. I'm going to start a studio and try out a little refreshed business model on building creative teams for different clients. Going to take it slow, kind of see what happens. Don't know what I'm doing. Excited to have fun. And Jason's like, I'm in a bit of a weird moment in my career right now too, potentially a moment of transition. If you need an extra set of hands, let me know. So that was August of 2022. And then by February 2023, I called Jason about a client, a big project that came through, landed on my plate. I'm like, definitely need a trusted set of hands. Called Jason at the right time, right? Like the
Yeah.
stars align, and he was like, done. It was like the quickest phone call of my life. He's like, done, let's go.
Great. And
And
what
then we
else
just
is
went.
like, it's sort of meta, right? Because it's like, what else? What else you got? What else is it? Was it
Yeah.
that? I mean, it's a good name. You're good at names.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I
you're
can't
good at
take any of
names.
the
I don't know
credit, yeah.
whichever one.
I showed
Yeah.
up, and what else was this idea that Adam he had already struck, and he had kind of taken a test drive with a client project ahead of me joining. But when Adam brought this idea to me about building teams, it was something that in the consulting world, that's all you do. I mean,
Right.
most consultancies don't have in-house teams technically.
Yeah.
Especially
you
if
build
they're
it out
boutique.
as
You
you
build
need
it
to.
out as you need to.
Right.
Everybody's a contractor.
Of course.
So when Adam was like describing this, I'm like, this has been my playbook for like almost.
Well, that was on purpose. That was a structural decision
Yeah.
within your company to build the team based on what you needed.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Which I'm familiar with because I also
Yeah.
do something similar.
Right. Right.
Yes.
It's not a new idea,
No.
right? But there's always like, what's that saying? It's like, I didn't invent the chicken sandwich. I just perfected it. Like, it's been around
You don't have
forever,
to be
right?
first.
Yeah.
You just right.
Yeah.
And I mean,
We
that
haven't
format is
perfected it.
helpful for you because you're not beholden. You don't have overhead. You can
Right.
hire the right people for the
Right.
job. All of those
Right. It was all
reasons.
about lowering stress,
Right.
which is mostly financial when it comes
Correct.
to starting any type of company.
Not needing as much capital.
Not
That's right.
needing.
Right.
You technically you can
Not-
start it with zero if you
Right.
wanted to. Kids out there, if you want to start your own.
I did that
studios.
with no money too.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
exactly. Lower the stress, and then just like raise the amount of control that creatives have.
And then with negotiating, so I mean, did you have a bunch of creatives you already liked that you wanted to plug in that you just wanted to
Yeah.
give work to,
That's
right?
the best part of working in the agency circuit in New York is you meet some of the most talented people who share your ideals and opinions on like, I don't want to work till 4 a.m. all the time, but they're really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And then you just call them and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm doing something new. Do you want to come make money and build something great?
Yeah.
And most
Yeah.
of the time they're like, yeah, of course I want to go have fun.
Right.
And I think because what else is so flexible too, like a lot of these people, we don't have to bring them in for the entirety of an 8-week project or a 12-week project. It's like, we really like you. Do you have enough time for round 1? You know, like give us your best ideas. We want the seeds that you can plant for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So we get creative into how we like incorporate these folks into.
And that also helps with your ethos, right? Because your site has a bunch of ethos. It has.
We're very ethos heavy.
Yeah, you're very ethos heavy. So I mean, I have them on this laptop that's right in front of me, but I saw a few that I like. There's no finger pointing from agencies. That's a very bold statement to make on your site, by the way. That there's that agencies finger point. Have you? I've had that experience.
Of course they do. Yeah. We've all had someone pointing over our shoulder at a screen
Mm-hmm.
for
Exactly.
hours on end.
Just
right?
waiting
It's a
for
terrible experience.
Yeah.
right.
And
So yeah.
this person has been there for 30 years. Now they're in control. Now they have power. Now they just tell people what to do. If you ask them to make something, they can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with that as an experience.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think, well, in terms of agencies, so I find that agencies also just come up with the concept, right? They don't actually always know how to ideate on it or build it or actually manually grow it out. They just sort of come up with a one-sentence idea and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then it's whoever can put it together or who's ever around or et cetera. Are you also in the business, though, of coming up with the concept and also creating around it, right?
Sure.
Which is a little novel, I guess.
Yeah, well, I
considering.
guess that's design with a capital D, right?
Right.
Instead of design with a lowercase d.
Well,
You own the strategy, you own the output, and you own the reputation of the idea.
But you also, I also find when I produce something, the design, the actual concept comes in the production. Like you can't really know what something's going to be until you know where it's happening, until you know how many people are going to be there, until you know what the experience is going to be. You can't really, that all comes out after the fact, even if you have an initial concept.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing with graphic design? You find other things that go off concept, you learn other things through that process, considering you're able to grow that process yourself,
Yeah.
right?
I think it is true for graphic design, but I think it's even more true for us specifically is that like going through the experience to learn the process and understand it better is really true for the business of design, how we build the teams, how we operate on a day-to-day basis. Adam and I, like, we don't have business degrees. We are like figuring it out as we go.
I don't have a business degree either. All of us are just kind of
Not that that will help you,
well,
but it won't hurt you. But I think like we start every year by establishing our goals for that year, and we kind of reflect on the previous year. We set new goals for the next year, and then we say, this is an experiment. Let's every quarter revisit it and see how it's going. So we're like living the decisions and making fine-tuned adjustments as we go along, similar to like what you were describing, where you have to live the process. You have to go through the work in order to like know what's right, know what it's going to look
And
like.
what's tricky about that is you don't always know your bottom line for your company in terms of,
Sure.
profitability,
Sure.
essentially.
Yeah. I mean, you can plan based on some knowns, but
For
a lot of
sure.
it, there are a lot of gaps. And I think that's where the opportunities are.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's where having a flexible team is
Comes in
comfortable,
handy. Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely takes a little bit of the pressure off of having to deliver over having like a complete full-time staff.
Exactly. And I mean, in your ethos, do you spread that amongst your team, right? So do you talk about hours? Do you talk about rates? Do you talk about comfortability with the project? And do you manage that time and then also manage that expectation with your clients?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I would say transparency is like one of the big core principles of our studio practice. I think we talk about numbers up front. We try to advocate for whatever the person's rate is. We try to meet them where they are.
Mm.
And then we try to do everything we can to really get out of their way. We want them to have some autonomy. We want them to own their expertise. And we expect those things from those folks. And, we set those expectations up from day zero.
Okay.
Like we establish as many expectations as we can and make them very clear.
And to the client as well.
And to the client as well, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the bit that's tricky, right? Because you're talking about, because if you're doing this kind of work, I know graphic designers that work in campaigns and so on, and the work is whatever the work is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just comes as it comes, and it keeps on rolling in.
Yeah.
Depending on how many different versions, and putting some kind of halt on that can be difficult.
Tough. Yeah. Sometimes it means you have to have a difficult conversation with your client. I mean, we're lucky that we keep such open lanes of communication with
From the
people we're
beginning.
working with. Yeah, that there are few surprises. And when they do come about, I think everybody recognizes that it's a surprise. It's different than what we intended. And it creates the space for a conversation to be had. I mean, that's all you're really doing as a business owner, is just creating these safe spaces for people to operate, for people to be in the know, to be well informed, to make decisions.
Right.
I feel like I'm painting like the most pristine photo of like what
well, no, I agree.
a design business looks like, but I mean, like, I don't know, walk the walk, talk the talk.
Well, yeah.
All the things. It's just like.
But also, if your team feels good, then the output is good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like if we can advocate for their wallets, which we do,
Mm-hmm.
that sets a great tone for everybody, right? It means that we're looking out for their best interest. Then we advocate to create enough time and space for them to explore and learn and trial and error and make great things and make really bad things, and that's okay. And Jason and I are in the files with them, so we're not saying like, hey, go make this thing and we'll check it out in a few days.
Yeah, good luck. We'll see you on
Jason and
Wednesday.
I are in the file too, right? And we work a lot in Figma by design, because I want to see your cursors in there. I want to see what work you're doing in real time, because it generates more ideas, and I can pick up on little details, and somebody can pick up on my work and run with it as well.
Do you find transferring, though, if somebody knows you or knows either one of you, and then you transfer it off to someone else, do you find that tricky to be able to say, okay, well, I took you through this piece and now here's this guy and I think he's going to be great and I'll see you later? Or do you stay on? You stay on, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting, I think that's an interesting like scenario where you introduce the work, and then like at some point it's like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to Adam. Adam's going to own the entire project. That's really never the case at What Else. I think what we do, though, is we stay on the project, but we have set that known from the first day. It's like, you know me, I'm going to be on this project, but I'm not going to do the work.
Right.
I'm going to lead the team that's doing the work.
Yeah.
That's the distinction, right?
Yeah, because in agency, you find that, there's a million people and you keep on getting passed, and it's that finger pointing note, right? That you suddenly are working.
Bring it up.
Right?
Like they're like, you're not going to pass me off to the B team, right? Like when we're pitching something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no. Like Jason and I will be there. You will be there. Like,
it's important to have the same face
Yeah.
throughout in order to keep trust with clients, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, What Else? We don't have the B team. We're only building.
Yeah, because we just build.
We just build the teams for every project.
I call it a bit of an Ant-Man approach.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Tell me about this approach.
What do you mean? Well, yeah, it's just there's one person, and then Ant-Man is made up of lots of people.
Yeah.
And if you break Ant-Man apart, it will scatter to a bunch of ants. But together, it makes us strong.
Yep.
human.
I like this.
Yeah.
Ant.
Exactly.
I don't know. I wanted to know, though, in terms of this, then, as you're sort of talking about design with your clients and you're talking with that around your staff, what are the conversations you have around the power of design and how it affects and what components you're trying to bring to these conversations? Like, so do you have an example of a problem you're trying to solve through design that you could share with us right now, out of curiosity?
Yes.
That we can help you work out right here.
Oh, that'd be great, actually. I think the first distinction I'll make, there's something in the industry, it's been in the industry for a really long time, and it's that like design can save the world. It can't. And
Thank you.
It won't.
Thank you.
Like design can bring attention to really important things, and a really great photograph put in the right place in an editorial publication or in the right blog or the right ad at the right time can spark a good idea in a group of people. But this idea that like design is the end all be all savior of our problems needs to disappear. It's not. And you'll hear me talk about this within the agency all the time. It's like design's purpose to me is to be a utility driven service of love, right? We need to be setting people up for success and allow them to feel empowered within their own brands, not like wall off gardens, and use design as this kind of like upper echelon type of pentagram-ish, like these giant, robust, complicated systems that then what? How do they get put to work? How are they applied, right? Yeah, how are they picked up by ordinary individuals and used to make their day a little bit better?
How do you empower? Then that's a good question, actually. So then you find that your clients are empowered sometimes by the design.
They have to be.
They have to be.
Yeah.
If they're not, it's a failure.
Really?
Yeah.
And how do you tell that they're empowered? They're excited, they're amped up,
That, along with, we meet our clients where they work. When we start to arrive at the end of a branding exercise, or typically a branding exercise, do you only know how to use Keynote? We'll build you an entire social media template kit of parts in Keynote, and we'll set up custom sizes and styles in there for you. Are you a little bit proficient in Figma? We'll teach you a little bit more to help you use these files and use these templates. Do we need to set up a Word document of sorts? God forbid. Do we need to get into PowerPoint? God forbid. But if I hand off something you can't open and you can't use and understand, then why did you just invest in all of this?
But also just getting people excited about their own brand. Because I think the hardest thing for business owners is thinking about their brand, is thinking about it abstractly. There's two in it. It's, you're sort of surrounded by it. So to be able to see it from the outside, do you find that clients have trouble seeing that? And are you able to gain perspective for them as to what they're seeing?
I think everybody naturally has trouble seeing, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because especially if it's something you own, you're just so zeroed in on what it is, and you sometimes you show up and you're so certain about what it is. I think we do a pretty good job of helping people zoom out, and we present, like any studio, we're going to present you a few different options. And I think we try to cast like a variety of nets. We try to go wide, we try to go tight on what your idea is. We try to meet you somewhere in the middle, and we try to help them recognize like what their brand could be versus what they think it is. And I think opening the aperture and, giving them a sense of opportunity, I think helps them recognize that.
Okay. So if you have somebody that comes in, do you ask, what's a brand exercise that potentially you give to clients about thinking about their company? Just if you were to throw out some free advice for anyone that's listening to this at the moment, what would be a brand activity that you would do in order to make people more in touch with what they're trying to say? Because if you're in the mire of running a business, you don't always know what you're trying to say.
No.
At all.
No.
So ask them the opposite is what we try and do.
Okay.
Tell us what you hate. Tell us who you don't want to sound like. Tell us who you don't want to walk and talk like.
Interesting.
If you ended up looking like this brand, would you be happy or would you be like repulsed? Right. I think sometimes
taste levels.
Yeah, it's more valuable sometimes to know what they just hate about brands and about what they might become versus having them articulate what they think they want to be. I think it's scary to say like, I want to be this, but it's way less scary to be like, I don't want to be that.
It's a good approach.
And those things come so much easier to people.
Yeah, well, everyone knows what they hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like this. I hate
Yeah,
green.
It's like on like a DNA level.
Yeah.
They know. Yeah.
It's in their body.
Yeah, people
It's harder
love
to
hate.
remember what you like. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know, what's
but
your favorite color?
I think they are.
don't know.
Clients come to you because they don't know what they like,
Mhm.
but they're very clear what they don't like.
Right. And so it's good that you call that out
Yeah.
immediately.
It's a good entry point for a lot of brands, especially. I think what else we do a lot of brands that are, in the seed phase.
Okay.
So these are companies that they don't necessarily have a lot of DNA. It's like an idea.
Yeah.
Or it's something that's, undergoing research and about to go raise its first round. There's not a lot of backstory to the project. And so it's up to us to help architect that story around what they've done, where they want to go, who their clients are, what their customers are,
Okay.
and then package all that up in some kind of meaningful kit for them.
Yeah, stories comes up a lot these days, right? There was a whole storytelling time for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely was a story time.
I don't know if it's still happening
time.
anymore. There was a story time for sure where everyone was telling stories.
In my life.
Yeah. It's a time in my life all the time. And I wonder, I felt like some of the things I've seen you all do is there some abstraction in your work sometimes in terms of if you're creating a visual, like a motion graphic, for example, how do you tell a story with something that's maybe more an abstract in your minds? Like, how does that movement inform it? Because the way that I came to y'all is that we were looking for some motion graphics folks to be able to create something really impactful based on primarily shapes and words and colors and what have you. And I'm curious how you come to any kind of movement that's an abstract movement that's not obvious if you're creating graphics. I know that's sort of an abstract question, but
It's a good one.
I'm just curious
Yeah.
because we did have some conversations about what the movement meant for a little bit that I thought was really, I'd never had that conversation in relation to something commercial or corporate or what have you. In theater, I had those conversations all the time.
Yeah. That's
when I
probably why
worked
you
in theater.
understand it though so well. Like
Yeah.
on such like an intrinsic level. Like you
Well, because it's all of a piece. But curious, like if when you're first approaching any kind of motion in relation to brand that's not an obvious video, is there a story in your mind that you're trying to play out? Or
to me it's less of a story and more of like we're building almost like a blurry portrait of an individual we all think we know in a
Okay.
way, right? Like a brand to me is all the personality traits of a friend of yours, right? The logo is partially, how they present themselves, or it's how they shake your hand when they first meet you. The typography is how they speak. Do they have like a deep, confident, bombastic voice? Do they have like a more high-pitched voice or like an elegant way of presenting their thoughts verbally?
Okay.
Their clothes are their color palette and their graphic language. Do they have tattoos? Do they have piercings? Do they wear running shoes to let you know that they're athletic, or do they wear like a pair of wingtips to let you know that they're quite refined and put together and things like that? So motion is really just like, how does that friend of yours walk into a room? Do they set the room at ease when somebody walks in and like them really well? You're like, oh, that person's here. That's really nice. I'm really looking forward to
Yeah.
catching up with that old friend. Or are they like a really dapper stranger and you're like, oh, like who's this mysterious individual who just entered the room, right? Or like, did they come in like a huff, like arms full of binders or loose papers or something, right? Like, are they a bit more chaotic and energetic? Like you heard them coming before they entered the room because
So-
their voice carries.
That's interesting. So if I were to list, say, a brand right now, would you be able to give me the identity of that brand?
Sure. But I'll probably think of someone I know first as opposed to like
Well,
an abstract character.
so you would assign a person
A little bit
to it.
sometimes.
That's a way to do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just building this person, right? It's as strange as
And
that
so you
sounds.
start thinking of the attributes of the brand that turns into a person and a personality.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Yeah. I think what you're asking too, though, also the longer you're a designer, the more those decisions that you're making to create the bridge between abstract to, subjective to objective, they're like, they're built in. They're like the second nature is the right way to think about it. So it's like sometimes asking questions and like having to unpack what that is a great exercise because not only is it relevant for this podcast, it's also really relevant for like talking to clients through it and getting them on board.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes it does take a little bit of like, let's take a step back. What decisions did we make? Why do these make sense to us? How can we communicate this back to the client? Because a lot of times we get in the room and like, depending on how much time we have, we'll just make a bunch of decisions. Maybe they all work.
Yeah.
And it's like, why did they work? I think
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
ourselves.
Keep asking.
Well, the why is important in design, right? I mean, when we
So
talk
important.
about design, I don't think it will save the world, but I do think things are implied through design, and there is thinking around all the
Absolutely.
actions. So there's thinking around the colors you use and the shapes you use and the definition of that shape,
Yeah.
right? And what you're trying to say around it in the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
It's why
responsible.
it's why our studio's named a question instead of like it's not.
It
called
is. It's
Bacher
what
and
else? Like
Lehman.
what else?
Yeah,
Like is it
yeah,
is it an
Yeah,
inflection?
it's inherently curious, right?
Okay.
Always asking why, and then you have to defend that why. And then you
Right.
ask it again, you defend it again.
Mhm.
It's like you're always on thesis mode.
So you're always asking questions,
Yeah.
and that keeps
Have
you
to.
constantly engaged in what
Yeah.
you're actually working on.
Yeah.
'cause
That
otherwise-
might be like the primary role of design and creative problem solving is willingness to ask a question. The more scared you are of a question, like you're not going to find
the
that like
answer around it.
authentic personality in the
Mhm.
problem, right? That allows us to de-abstract our movement in the brand, which you asked for, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you have to keep digging.
And that authenticity, I was going to ask how you sort of, I mean, since you also work on social and you also work on a few different campaigns that do a lot of different things, how are you instructing clients, or is this through authenticity, to push through that sludge and through the general fatigue of everybody just looking at things all the time? I mean, what's a way, because we're seeing so much design and almost more than ever by accident
Mm.
regularly, do you have a way, do you think that just being authentic in your voice is the thing that pushes you through, or are there other things? I mean, that's very Pollyanna.
It's $1 million question, Nikki.
I know. I mean, we all answer that, but curious about how you combat that. I mean, because I'm sure, or do you not even try and you just try to be as authentic as possible?
I think for me, we try to get to the root of what the client's objectives are. What do they really want to do?
Yeah.
Where do they really want to spend their investment? What are they trying to achieve? Knowing those things help us kind of deprioritize like the business as usual type of deliverables. Like, oh yes, you do need 100 of these things, but let's not try to make those the most authentic thing. But of course, that thread of authenticity has to make its way through everything you produce, right? That's like what makes the work consistent and good and connects to the audience. So like that's the brand moment. That for us is really important. But really getting to the root of like what are the platforms, channels, and opportunities that are going to actually break through to your audience. And if we don't know what those are, like we're almost wasting everyone's time just producing assets.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you actually need to know the reason why
Sure.
you're creating anything.
Right.
Right.
And so a lot of our time with our clients is just spent getting into like the whys.
Why would you want to do this? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
What, where, why?
Yeah.
When?
I can't tell you how many times even after these conversations we leave and like 5 minutes later, like, oh, we have another question. Like, why are they doing this?
Why should they do it like that? Why should they? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about this? And I think part of the discussion is like one of my favorite parts about the work.
Yeah. Because that's the most interesting part, right? Because then you get to that piece. And have you had a project? What's the metrics of success and failure in terms of doing these campaigns and doing this work from your minds? I mean, just curious.
Yeah, I don't know that I measure it maybe the same way that everybody does, but for me, like client engagements and opportunities, win or learn, are all valuable. I think I'm going to steal something from Victoria here. There's wins and there's learns, not losses. Like the reality, changing the way that you look at things, at least for me, has been really helpful. And like client engagements, there are no bad client engagements. Everything is an opportunity for you to actually improve how you're doing it. That's how I frame it.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah.
I want the data like most of the time. Like,
Yeah.
did your bounce rate go down? Did your impression rate go up?
And the data
Do you feel
tells you.
confident in selling, right? Like which maybe isn't as data driven, right? Did you sell more? Do you feel better about selling more, right? Like branding is about selling something, an idea, a product, an initiative,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
We're in the business of selling something to
Selling.
someone. And so if a client feels more confident in what they can do when we're not in the room, I think that's a huge win.
Yeah.
That's the primary goal, confidence and security around their brand, but leaving the brand open-ended enough that it can still grow with them, right? I think some brands can stunt their opportunity and stunt their growth when everything is decided and really constrained and, everything's put into a box. And then when they have a bigger opportunity in front of them and the brand doesn't serve them as well, like, oh man, we
Yeah.
got too granular too quickly.
You got too tied in,
Yeah.
right? And tied into the same idea.
Brands are alive. They grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to
They
continue
change
to
taste a little
evolve.
bit. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they die. It's like,
Yes.
like a shark needs to keep on moving. All right.
Yeah.
Guys, right?
Yeah. The ultimate Tamagotchi.
Yeah,
Brands
exactly.
definitely are living organisms.
They are, right?
Yeah.
They react and they have to change. And so do people have a tendency to want to stay with the same thing if it's working and you have to convince them to move away from it? Or if if the metrics are there?
Yeah. Small things have big impact though. You don't have to.
You don't have to do a lot.
Every time a client comes to us and they're like, we want to change our logo, we're like, why?
Yeah.
You better have a good reason because that's expensive.
Yes.
You are about to break a lot of trust with a lot of customers
Right.
just because you're a little bit bored.
Fair.
Let's find something else smaller that can have just a sizable impact that isn't changing your logo at all.
Yeah.
Right?
What's driving this change? Why? Ironically, why do you want to see the logo be something different, be something else? Yeah, we definitely advocate for like maybe to our detriment, that big project we'll take something much smaller. What else do you have?
We'll take the smaller version of that and then we'll grow from there.
Yeah.
And usually that's good though. That's a good practice because if you take the smaller thing, then the bigger thing is, you're already in a way and you already know, right? Interesting. I wanted to ask you guys, we might be wrapping up pretty soon, but I wanted to ask you guys a couple of things about what you all consume outside of working at What Else and what are things that you like to consume from yourselves, whether that's eating or drinking or watching or attending. Is there things that you all do abstractly from your general work? Because I know you run a business. Running a business is all time consuming.
It can be, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. I'll let Adam go first. I think he's got some interesting hobbies.
There is a book everyone should read, no matter what no matter what industry you're in. Unreasonable Hospitality. I'm sure a lot of people watching this have already read it. If you haven't read it, just make the time for it.
I haven't read it.
It's the ex-GM of One Madison Park, that journey to him becoming GM and why exceptional service is just as important as an exceptional plate of food, right? Jason and I talk often about how our role is anticipating our clients' needs and problems before they even see them and fixing them before they even ask us to fix them for them. Our team is making the plate of food and we're helping them select the ingredients and cook it. But our job is when somebody walks into the restaurant, do they feel welcomed? Do they feel anticipated? Did we go above and beyond on service so that they want to come back again?
Okay.
Spend their money with us. Read the book.
All right. We will note that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Definitely.
Otherwise, if you're a designer, don't consume design for inspiration.
Don't consume design.
No, go read books, go to museums, go watch movies. I listen to a lot of old music. What museum do you like? Oh, I'm a big fan of the Cooper Hewitt.
Okay.
They're a design rooted.
People forget that because it's all the way up there.
Yeah, it's just past the Met, so people stop at the Met, which is fine.
No, but it's an amazing industrial design museum.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a beautiful property too.
Yeah.
That's true.
The fact someone lived there blows my mind every time I walk in.
Books for me, I read my first fiction book this year in a long time. No, in a very long time. I'm pretty dry. I read a lot of nonfiction. So I don't know that I'm the best. But recently, my partner and I started reading a lot of Mary Oliver, poetry. And to Adam's point, reading things that are not design has really been a good reminder of that there's many other ways to be inspired. Her works are incredible, and it's a lot of poetry about nature and about life and death and terrible things and good things. But it's a great way to start your day, and it's been a really good practice for us. Museums, I like them all. I don't really have Cooper Hewitt's good, but Met Cloisters, get up there.
Oh yeah,
go up there.
Get on the train.
All those unicorn tapestries.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, unicorn tapestries.
That's it.
To your heart.
That's it. That's all you need to say about that.
Yeah,
and
pretty dope.
Yeah, they're amazing. And I guess I thought that maybe if you guys had a design sort of prompt or a design project you could put out for people that are listening, maybe around people are starting a brand, or even nowadays, everyone is a brand. I mean, and I don't love that as a practice, but it is happening. What is a design project people can do to further themselves, or even just change their perspective about the way that they're going about? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Throwing you guys on the spot, but I like a takeaway.
Happy to be on the spot. I think I would the exercise I would give people is to think about even the most mundane things that they're doing as a project, as a design project. I'll give you an example. I don't know if Adam has seen as many spreadsheets until he met me, but anytime I see a
Shaking
problem
his head
show
no.
up like 2 or 3 times, I realize that there's an opportunity to fix something or build a system or define a processes. And I've starting to like design all the systems in my life. And I think for a person just starting out thinking about a brand, they can actually start to design out these systems and really think about what are the next steps. What are things that they can produce today that they're going to be able to hand off to the next person? So they're not the sole owner of all the information. And I think that's a practice that we've built into What Else, and it's been super helpful, is like having these things written down. I always say, like, write it down. Like, did we make a decision today? Commit it to the book.
No.
So having those systems in place has been incredible. And it's really been the first time that I've explored that. And I always say, like, What Else is just the ultimate design project. It's like Legos for design studio.
Just endlessly building.
Yeah, we're just constantly building, and we're constantly.
And if it falls down, you just got to build it again.
Build it right back up. Yeah. And, we're not really worried about what shape it is today, if it'll be that shape tomorrow, because we're just building it as we go.
Yeah. Jason started calling What Else an experiment really early on, and that stuck, right?
Yeah.
Like keeping that mindset of experimentation, taking disparate things and putting them together, and it works sometimes.
So
right?
Do you have a design project people can do?
Yes, I have a couple answers to this question. I have like a tactic that can help snap me out of it sometimes, and it's something I learned from another guy named Adam at IBM back in the day. He kind of said to a group of us once, like, take out a piece of paper and design a vase, right? Whatever you want it to be, just sketch it really quick. Take 30 seconds to design a vase. And he's like, oh, great, crumple that up, throw it on the ground. Now, instead of like designing with the solution in mind, design a better way to experience flowers. And the sketches change really drastically, right? Now we have chandeliers of roses, and we have, just rooms, full of interactive flower installations or something like that, right? Or tons of different ideas that aren't vases anymore.
Where you
right?
ain't been holding out. Where's that?
That's a great.
That
one will snap
that's
you.
A great
like,
one.
Yeah, it's like if I ever design like the same thing 20 times in a row, I'm like, clearly I'm designing vases right now, and I need to stop designing. And it's easy to get into that, right? Because we've been designing for over 10 years. Like, oh, I know where to put the pixels.
Right.
Just let me do it really quick. And then you get there and you're like, oh, that was wrong. That's pretty shit. Like, I need to go design a better experience for flowers, not another vase. So I recommend doing that.
That's great.
That's huge.
Yeah. Or throw on like an old record and redesign the cover before the album's over.
Love that.
That's a fun one.
Also, that means to be looking at a record.
Yeah.
How can we support you guys? Well, I mean, we can find you guys online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best place to find us is What Else Studio, whatelse.studio.
Yep.
But we also have an Instagram, but I mean, that's less important to us. And if anyone's interested, they can always reach out via email as well.
Yeah. And if people want to work with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you taking interns? Are you accepting assistants?
We're taking both. Yeah. Always accepting assistants, both personal and professional. But yeah, I don't know that we're like officially open for interns, but we've explored it a little bit. Certainly if there's some young, talented folks out there, we'd love to foster and mentor and create space for them. If you're a client, someone with a brand looking to grow or change, or seeking out something that What Else can provide for you, the best way to get in touch is through the site.
Yeah. Send us your book. We'll always hop on the phone. Yeah.
Wonderful. Everyone should do that.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Never Work a Day is produced and created by Preview Media. Our team includes Nikki Frankel as executive producer, Stefan Vlasky and Nishal Small are our social media managers, and Jasmine Jackson is our show editor. Thank you for listening. Please take care of yourself and those around you.